What's up, y'all? Welcome back to the Sunshine Way. I am your lovely host, Chiya, and welcome back to my channel where we become better teachers, better educators, better dancers, and live a life of light and let our light shine. So in today's video, I'm going to be giving y'all my top 7 healthy habits for special education teachers. Y'all, this video is jam-packed with good information, good tips, good healthy habits that will keep you sane and keep you going through your school year. We're getting to a point where we're in the school year where it's like, this is the home stretch. We got about 30 IEP meetings. We're trying to combine and collaborate with our co-teachers and all that type of stuff. So it's getting really crazy. So these 7 healthy habits will help you survive at least the rest of the school year. So let's get right into it. First habit of a special education teacher should be checking your email. Now, this is me preaching to the choir. Call the black kettle, black kettle something. You know what I'm talking about. Checking your email in the morning, checking your email every block, depending on the way your school day is set up. Mostly middle school and high school is the ones who have like blocks or periods, but checking it every period, and checking it at least once before you leave. And my bad habit is not checking it before I leave, because when that clock strike, I'll be like, gotta go, and I just don't check my email. So trust me, I'm preaching to myself. Okay, check the email every chance you can, because if you are a special education teacher or a teacher in general, you get emails all day long, all day long, and something random could fly off the wall and pop up and you don't know. Now, some people and some teachers have their email on their phone. I do not, because I like to disconnect. Okay, because special education can take over your whole life 24/7, 7 days a week. It can do that. So I don't have my email on my phone or on my tablet or anything. It's just on my school computer. That's it. And that's probably a healthy habit too, so you can disconnect. The second healthy habit would be to having your SNA, someone, at least 1 or 2 people on your EC department within your school, and having your special education director's number, or program specialist, more your program specialist, because they work specifically with certain schools. So having your program specialist, at least 2 people in your EC department within your school, and your SNA's cell phone number. I'm telling y'all, it's so crazy how many times I had to call them and be like, yo, this happened. Okay, I don't say yo, but I say this has happened and we need to do this. Or if I'm waiting for them in an IEP meeting and one of us forgot or something, we can send each other a text and be like, did you remember? And so having the number is because so many things is going on, so much information is thrown around. So being able to quickly get to those people, having their cell phone number is critical, vital to me. The third healthy habit would be to, and this is something that I feel like every teacher say and stuff like that, but it's even more vital and even more critical when it comes to being a special education teacher. Building that relationship with your students that are on your caseload and the students that are within your class, and then building relationships not only with them but with their parent. At least one parent or one family member, having that relationship kind of just make things flow easier, especially if something happens and you have to have a difficult conversation. If they have some sign of you prior to, having a difficult conversation, it makes it more easier for them to feel like, okay, they know my child, or they know me, so they know how to handle the situation. And honestly, you don't be as stressed, because you're like, oh, I talked to her 2 weeks ago, we good. I talked to her yesterday. I know this mother, and it makes it so much easier. Now, would I be the one to sit here and say that that's going to happen for every single student on your caseload and every single special education student that you serve? can we tell the truth? That's just not gonna happen. But you can do and try to do as many as you can. And if you definitely see 20 of your students on your caseload that's just like their family is in really needs your help, really needs your support, that shows a sign that you can kind of slide in there and take that role, take that place, where some parents, you might need to only talk to them like every 2 weeks, but you might have a parent that you need to talk to weekly. You know what I mean? Like, you know your students and you'll know your parents. And then some parents you can talk to periodically or monthly, and y'all can have little catch up and stuff, and that's good enough for them, and that relationship stands and it's good. So learn your parents, learn your students, and build those relationships, and like, it will go a long way, especially again when it comes to difficult conversation, because difficult conversation it can be nerve-wracking sometimes, right? And honestly, like I said, we're in the home stretch of the rest of the school year, and this is probably the part of the school year that seems like we're pulling teeth or something. So, like, being able to have that good relationship and move smoothly through the days, that definitely lightens the load. The fourth healthy habit would be to read over any paperwork and any documents that you create, okay? Because your name is going on it, and you don't want people to be reading your stuff and they be like, what was she thinking? What was she doing? Or what was he thinking? What was he doing? And what is really going on? Like, we lost. You don't want people to look at your paperwork and say that. So read over it, make sure it sounds right. On top of, make sure your grammar is correctly as possible, because you can't be writing about a student grammar and then your grammar is jacked up. Like, you just can't do that. And on top of that, like, we all make mistakes. We're humans, and when you're typing the IEP, it can be drawn out, it can be long, so you can literally mess up on anything. So being able to reread over your stuff, have time to look over certain things, that is important. Another thing is reading over prior documents, especially if the student is coming from a different county or a different state. And trust me, I'm preaching to the choir, preaching to myself, because it has bitten me in the tail before. And like, reading over some prior stuff and making sure you understand the state that the student is in, coming to you, so that you know what to do from there. So really focusing on some of the prior information that's coming, or if they switching from elementary, and they're going into middle school, or they're going from middle school into high school, paying attention to that to make sure everything is transitioning correctly. So read over that paperwork, and sometimes it's a lot of it. I know. And then the fifth healthy habit that I have is having a separate calendar for your IEP meetings and due dates and things like that. I talk about this often in many of my videos before, and I plan on doing a specific video dedicated to that calendar. And it literally was a game changer for me, because I'm not getting confused with anything else. Every single thing I put on there is dedicated to the students that I serve, and my role as a special education teacher. So if I'm pulling a student out, or if I'm testing a student, or if I'm doing some type of quick assessment on the student, it goes on there. If I have an IEP meeting, it's going on there. If the reevaluation is due in August, I'm putting it on there. Like, whatever the case may be, if it's dealing with the students that I serve, I'm putting it on there. And I buy me a brand new one each school year, and it is a game changer for me. Trust me. Get you a separate calendar. And don't get a planner, because you only seeing that week by week. You need to see those chunks month by month, because you have to let parents know in advance, students know in advance, yourself know in advance. And being able to have that monthly thing, you're able to give yourself a little playroom, so you know, oh, okay, if that meeting is due on Wednesday of March, then I'll start this by this date. You know, you give yourself more playroom when you can see that month to month information. And yeah, so my next thing, and just for no facts, I have my tablet down here and I have them listed and some key points written down, so that's why I keep looking at my screen. The sixth healthy habit that I have is knowing when to release. So being a special education teacher, you can become very attached. It also is professional, but it also becomes a little personal because being a special education teacher, you are involved in the student's life a little bit more. There's certain things that you know about the student, or certain things that the parent tells you because they want to be able to help their child, or it's just certain things that happen, especially if you are serving in a school that's in an area like mine where it's very close knit, very community. Everybody know everybody. Somebody grew up here and now their child go to the same middle school that they went to, and all that type of stuff. So it's very close knit. So you get very, very close to the parents and very close to the students, and the relationship is very professional but personal as well. So knowing when to release and knowing when you've done your absolute best. And the reason why I put that down as a healthy habit is because sometimes you can become so involved that it kind of gets frustrating when you can't do certain things, or when you're not seeing certain things happen, or so being able to say, I did my best. I'm taking my hands off of it. Or I've tried everything that I can. Let me ask and call for someone for help, or ask someone for advice or something like that. So knowing when to release those reins and kind of just and also I mean that too, because I know a lot of special education teachers and teachers in general who take their work home at night during the weeks, and home on the weekends, and home in the morning, and home and which is fine because I do that time to time too. But knowing when, okay, like, let me give myself a break, or let me separate, or let me only spend an hour today and spend the rest of my day enjoying my family, living my life, whatever the case may be. And then the last healthy habit, number 7, is keeping faith and keeping hope. And the reason why I put this as a healthy habit is because in this teaching career, period, in this teaching career, there is so many ups and downs. There's so much frustration. There's so much things to do, so many things to do, so much on your list, like so many things that you want for a student, and they might not want it for themselves, or somebody might not care to help them get there. You know what I'm saying? And or you try every creative reason, every creative activity to try to get this student on board, or try to get this student progressing, and it gets frustrating. Or when you need someone help to do something and it can't get done, or when you have a certain amount of students on your caseload and you're trying to juggle it all, like keeping the faith, keeping the hope. I would say that to any teacher, any administrator, period, that's in the school system. But of course, this video is specifically for special education teachers, and I just want to say, keep the faith, man. It's just so many things that go on, and when you're working behind the scenes and trying to get things done, you see and learn so much, and some stuff that you can't even talk about, and that you can't change, you can't help, you can't fix. And that's not just with the student, but with policies and all that type of stuff. So keep the faith and do the best that you can. Now, if you watch my top 7 videos before, you know that at the end of the video, I go over all of them really fast, just so I can make sure that you heard every single healthy habit that I said, or everything that I said in my list. So my top 7 healthy habits for a special education teacher is checking your email in the morning once every block or period and before you leave, having a SNA, at least 2 people on your EC department, and your special education program specialist cell number so that you can contact them when you need them. The 3rd thing is building relationship with the student and the parent. The 4th thing is read over any paperwork or any documents that you created, or any previous ones that you need to know more information about the student. And 6 is knowing when to, 5 is having a separate calendar for your IP meetings, your due dates, anything to do with the students that you're serving. And number 6 is knowing when to release. And number 7 is keeping the faith and keeping the hope. So you have made it to the end of this video. If you like it, make sure you give it a thumbs up. Make sure you hit the subscribe button and make sure you tap that notification bell so you can be notified every time your girl upload. And remember, be humble, be inspiring, be kind, y'all, and don't forget to shine. I'll see y'all on the next one. Peace.